Russia is a land loaded with grand basilicas, vodka, and bears. But then again, so you think. As the biggest landmass nation on the planet, spreading over 9 time regions and 6.6 million square miles, there is considerably more to the mind-boggling country. The current nation has experienced periods of socialism and turmoil to turn out to be the present self-announced majority rule government, with much discourse of ceaseless defilement. Russia has consistently been one of those nations that runs over confounding and obscure to most outsiders. On the off chance that you look further into its dull history, you can see it is a place that is known for riddles, insider facts, and political disturbance. Russia has been nailed down with generalizations of hearty men, overwhelming vodka consumers, and moving bears. However, here are 10 stunning realities that will make certain to stir up your perspectives on the Russian Federation. Number 10. 60 secret cities are completely off limits to foreigners. While individuals openly realize that Russia was exceptionally shut off during its period as the Soviet Union, many would be stunned to locate that even today there are a lot of mystery urban areas dispersed all through the Russian Federation. These urban areas have occupants living their everyday lives, except regardless of whether they need family to visit, they will require a unique license. Remote guests are totally taboo from visiting the mystery urban communities of Russia, even today. Today's shut urban communities that are known freely are for the most part associated with military and atomic research habitats. Vilyuchinsk, arranged on Kamchatka Peninsula in the most distant east of the nation, is a base for atomic submarine development. Zheleznogorsk, out in the center of Siberia, is Russia's inside for plutonium creation. Last, there is Sarov, Russia's principal place for atomic research. This shut city is generally celebrated for being home to the most remarkable atomic weapon at any point made, the Tsar Bomba. Beyond these openly known shut urban areas, there are as yet numerous totally obscure to people in general, and not put onto maps so as to keep up their mystery. Obviously, outsiders are not normally searching for these urban communities, yet it can lead one to ponder about the waiting privileged insights behind the world's biggest nation. Number 9. Russians do not live that long. Studies show that 1 of every 4 Russian men will kick the bucket before they turn 55. Maybe Russians should start to consider the negative impacts of substantial alcohol drinking. With this stunning measurement, the normal Russian man is required to live just until 64, setting Russia in the last 50 nations on the planet for ever expectancy. The Russian inclination for hard alcohol is obviously influencing guys' lifespan. The normal grown-up in Russia expends 20 liters of vodka for every year. In spite of the fact that passings identified with liquor have dropped since the 1990s, liquor is as yet the 3rd most noteworthy reason for avoidable demise in Russia. Heavy drinking isn't the main source of miscreant hope, however. Cardiovascular malady and stroke-related passings are high in Russia, -65%, to be careful. This can likewise be connected back to substantial cigarette use among Russians and the by and large poor worry for individual well-being in the nation. Number 8. Pancakes are served with caviar and sour cream. Americans longing for their cushy, warm, syrup-dusted hotcakes will rapidly get a rude awakening in Russia. Requesting a hotcake there will get you a normal Russian flapjack, or as they call it, a blini. Customary blini are dolloped with appetizing acrid cream and salty caviar. A long way from what you would make at home. Blini are likewise made exceptionally dainty, much like a French crepe. The food is accepted to have originated from unintentional searing when a starving voyager was concocting some oat jam. With one interruption, the conventional blini was conceived. After some time, they turned into a staple in Russian family units. Blini are filled in as good karma when a child is conceived and filled in as a token of generosity and joy at burial services. From birth to death, the blini is a staple that most Russians live with their whole lives. It was not until the 19th century that the blini turned into a tidbit eaten by the world class. During this period, the Russians made a blini that turned into an extravagant food item for just the well-off. This is the manner by which the customary hotcake with harsh cream and caviar was conceived. Number 7. You are forbidden to whistle inside. The vast majority don't have the foggiest idea how oddly eccentric Russians can be. Russians don't trust in shaking hands in an entryway, sitting at the corner table, or you will be perpetually unmarried, or saying glad birthday before the real day. On the off chance that you need to stay away from some irate Russians while visiting, don't do these things. Even stranger Russians don't trust you are permitted to whistle inside. It is ideal to abstain from murmuring your preferred tune in this nation. Strange notion says that on the off chance that you do, you are in for terrible money-related karma later on. Number 6. It has the third highest concentration of billionaires in the world. Moscow used to rule for the quantity of tycoons who called Russia home. Moscow had the main title, lodging 84 of the world's very rich people. It appears that some have moved along in quest for greater business openings abroad. These days, it scarcely falls behind New York City and Hong Kong. All things considered, Moscow is as yet home to nearly 71 billionaires. In 2019 alone, these men were worth $421 billion joined. They have evaluated that an amazing 89% of Russia's riches is constrained by the most extravagant 10% of the populace. The Russian President, Vladimir Putin, is a piece of the well-off, hardly any controlling the cash as well as the legislative issues of the confounding country. Number 5. Women greatly outnumber men. Russian ladies dwarf the men in Russia by an incredible 11 million. This has been the situation for longer than a century. It is accepted that during World War I that the quantity of men diminished fundamentally after the war ended the lives of more than 25 million fighters. In present day, however, this pattern has intensified because of the high maltreatment of liquor and cigarettes all through the previous USSR nations. The maggot anticipation because of medication and liquor misuse has cemented the low number of guys in the region. The sexual orientation proportion in Russia is presently 86.8 men per 100 ladies. This has significantly influenced the conventional society where the ladies get youthful and have babies rapidly. Russian ladies are currently being required to look for relationships outside of Russia, with outsiders, so as to change in accordance with the general absence of men. This is the place international wives come in. Russian ladies aren't simply turning out to be international wives for a superior life any longer, yet in addition to legitimate need. There sufficiently aren't Russian men for the quantity of ladies, so it's a route for them to escape the nation and date men who are accessible and intrigued by marriage. Number 4. You can be arrested and tortured for being gay in Russia. Beginning in 2013, Putin got serious about the capacity of the gay network to communicate. The Russian government made a gay promulgation boycott, expressing that equivalent sex connections are not socially satisfactory and even marked them as illicit under Russian law. This boycott made an upheaval in the gay network in Russia and around the world. What a great many people have not heard in the media is that Russian authorities are really sending gay individuals from the network to jail, or more terrible, work camps. These gay individuals who have been kept and tormented have approached saying they were shocked and beaten until the purpose of uncovering the names of other people who might be gay. These unpleasant acts have not gone unnoticed, however. Activists have been helping individuals get away from the district since the mistreatment started. The Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe has likewise considered the abuses an enormous infringement of human rights and is additionally making a move to prevent the demonstrations from happening further. Number 3. Bears are addicted to getting high on kerosene. Russian bears in the south of Kamchatka, Russia are getting their fix. Evidently, at the Kronotsky Nature Reserve, more than 700 of these marvels have gotten their hands on extra canisters of stream fuel. The animals truly dog these disposed of canisters of fuel and can be watched sniffing in the vapor, trailed by turning over, lying back, and taking in the impacts. These bears are actually dependent on the high. The fuel canisters that have been extra originated from the utilization of intensity generators and helicopters on the nature hold. The nature hold itself is home to more than 700 earthy-colored bears, which are believed to be the biggest earthy-colored bears on the planet, and weigh up to pounds each. The Bear Haven covers more than hectares of land and has been articulated in UNESCO World Legacy Site. Number 2, it has over 1 million people with HIV. For a created nation, Russia has an alarmingly high number of individuals living with HIV and AIDS. As of late, the number contacted 1.2 million individuals living with HIV in the nation. Incredibly, this number isn't leveled out. Every year, the pace of contaminated individuals is rising 10–15% in Russia. This implies more than 250 individuals are turning out to be tainted each day. Studies have discovered that this number originates from the high utilization of injectable medications in the nation. Around 1.8 million individuals, or 2.3% of the populace, utilizes injectable medications. The other lion's share of the contaminated individuals originates from sexual accomplices. Around 49% of new contaminations originate from hetero accomplices. Obviously, the accomplices of sex laborers and the individuals who utilize injectable medications are at higher hazard to become infected. The gauges show that around Russians are living with HIV and don't have any acquaintance with it. The most well-known explanation they are not trying themselves is the absence of access to testing. The Russian government has recognized the HIV emergency in the nation, and measures are being taken to increment sexual instruction and availability of assets to shorten the scourge. Number 1, dogs know how to navigate the subway. Moscow is celebrated for its tram-riding hounds. Indeed, they really realize how to explore and ride the metro without human help. These creatures have made sense of where to jump on and off to discover food and different supplies. The city is home to more than lost mutts, however just a bunch of the more wise ones have found and aced this method of transportation in endeavors to survive. They accept around 24 of these smart canines explore the tram regularly, utilizing their feeling of smell to manage them. Evidently, these mutts have figured out how to perceive and react to human signs. Mutts likewise get encouraging feedback and consideration from people on trams, assisting their craving to return. They additionally start to recognize various stations by smell and realize which stops are related with accepting food.